So here is the materials that I'll be using for the sewing of this beautiful gown. Okay, this is the satin material that I'll be using, and this is the sequence that I'll be attaching for the upper part of this gown. And here we have our beautiful tulle. Okay, so next thing we'll start cutting and transferring to fabric.
And the very next thing for us to do is to transfer our patterns to fabric. And just as I've done here, you can see the tulle. I've cut out the tulle that we're going to use. This is for the front borders, and this is for the back. And I've added the necessary allowance by the side. Okay, so this is our pattern. This is the front and this is the back. So I've gone ahead to cut the fabric, adding all the necessary allowance to it. And this is the lining. I have to use an interfacing, to press on it so they can stabilize the fabric. So this is the lining, this is the main fabric. And I did the same thing for the back. This is the main fabric. Can you see? And this is the lining. Yeah. So I'll keep it aside now, and then we'll move over to the lower part of this gown. So for the lower part of this gown, I cut out a flare skirt with angle 360. So to do that, you have to divide your waist circumference by 6.28, and then you add the length of the skirt, and then you cut out, adding your zip allowance when necessary. So I've cut it out, I've opened it up on this side, and then I notch the center. So on this same skirt, I'm having another flare on top of it, and this is it right here. I cut out another flare with this material. Okay, this one is going to be short, the short flare. So apart from this short flare, we are going to have 4 layers of tulle, okay, to get our desired fullness. So I've gone ahead to cut the tulle accordingly. Okay, so these are all the tulle I've cut out. So I'll go and draw gathers on all of this tulle. I'll keep it aside, and then we'll start joining. So for the joining of the upper bodies, I'm going to sew the yoke on top of the fabric. So it's quite simple. I'm going to place this yoke like so, and then I'll sew it and top stitch, and I'll do the same thing for the back. I'll do it quickly and I'll show you. So here I've attached the tulle net to the upper bodies. Can you see? See how relaxed it is? I've notched it already, so it's well relaxed. The next thing I'm going to do right now is to turn it with the lining. So I'm going to place it the right side of the main fabric, facing the right side of the lining fabric. So I'll bend the tulle net in like this, then I'll place this one like so, and then I'll sew it down. Afterwards, I will now turn it back and iron it properly. And here I've ironed it. I've turned it with the lining, and I've ironed it. See how flat it's laying, front and back, and the back also is the same. The next thing we'll do now is to turn the shoulder. So to do that, I'll place the lining right side facing the right side. Can you see? So that I'll be able to turn the shoulder. I'll do same for this side. Afterwards, I will turn the armhole side. I'll turn the armhole like so and stitch it. I'll do that for the both sides, and I'll go and give it a good press. So the next thing now.
All right, now for the shaping of the side, I have to do a little alteration. I'm going to attach a strip of fabric, like I say may do, in the front. Okay, so I've notched the midpoint. I make sure it aligns with the midpoint of the front bodies. Next thing, I'll pin it down so that it lay very, very flat. Okay, so I'll pin it down on both sides, and then I'll begin to sew it. I'm going to sew it straight. Okay, then afterwards I'll also sew another long strip across, depending on the style that we're trying to recreate. Okay, so this is it. I'll pin it down, and then I'm sewing it down so that everything can lay. Then I'll cut out the excesses, and that is it. It's neatly finished. So the next thing is for us to join the sides. Okay, so I'll also go ahead to attach the belt. We're going to add the belt to it. So I'll attach the belt firstly, pin it down, and then I'll mark out the proper measurements that we are using After marking it down, I'll measure the extra that we have. I'll share it for the both side. I'll mark the both side, marking out the allowances, okay, and then I'll go ahead and measure the waist circumference. I'll mark it down. I'll measure out the differences that we have in the allowance. I'll share it for the both side. After doing that, I'll begin to sew them. I'll sew the other side too, okay. I've gone ahead to iron it down, and everything is laying flat, okay, it's neatly finished. And then the belts that we attach by the side, okay, can you see it? So everything about the upper bodice is now ready and neatly finished, okay. So we'll continue with the lower part. And so the sequence we're going to attach, I have to cut out another fabric for the underlay, and then this is the crinoline that will be attached. And here I've sewn the skirt part of our gown. The sequence flay, I attached crinoline to it, okay, and then the two net, I've sewn them down properly. This is about 3 layers and it's so full, guys. I'm not going to attach any hard net to this gown. It's just the fullness they are looking at that is going to puff up. And then the upper bodice, I put a notch to the midpoint of the top, and this is me trying to put a notch to the midpoint of the skirt part. The next thing I'll do is to join them together, make sure they align properly, and then I'll go ahead and sew it down, attach our zip, and then this gown is ready, okay. Our beautiful ball gown is ready. Can you see? Look at the back, look at that. It's so perfectly finished and beautiful, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.